Hey, tonight I want to share with you guys a very interesting hack that I came up with myself. Funny enough, I'll give you guys the story and the background to how I developed this hack at the end so we can get right into it. So right here I have a regular crochet block, 10 by 10, 10 rows by 10 stitches. And you can see that there's really not a right side or a wrong side because when you're working back and forth in crochet, your right side row alternates with your wrong side row. Now, for example, when you're knitting in the round, you have a very pretty right side and what most people call the wrong side. This could be opposite for you. You might prefer this side to that side. But the point here is what if you could knit something shaped like this that looks like this, has a right side and a wrong side? You can, and it's a lot easier than you think. So right here I have the swatch. All wrong side, all right side. Or no, this is all wrong side and this is all right side. So let's compare these side by side, shall we? Let's move that back. Let's look at the difference. This one alternates and this one doesn't. Let's look at the other side. Again, this one alternates and this one doesn't. It's just very beautiful, and like this is again just a single crochet block. How do you do this? Well, so as you can see, we are now working on the pure right side row. You're going to crochet through the row just as you would normally. This is how normal people crochet. You go through the front of the loop, just like this. Now, I do have a jackknife hand method and not a pin hand method. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter how you hold your hook, just everyone sticks their hook through the front, and that creates more of the right side row. And every time you alternate, if you just keep putting your hook through the front of the stitches every time, as you're turning, you're going to have a wrong side row and a right side row alternating, which is how crochet typically looks, and that's not unusual for people. What is unusual for people is having something crocheted flat, the right side row all on one side and a wrong side row all on the other. So now that we are here to our wrong side row, what do we do? Well, if you've been following along and your logic is sound and maybe you also knit, you might have guessed what I'm going to do next. Instead of sticking your hook through the front like this and pulling and doing, you're not going to do that. You're going to put your hook through the back. Let me do that again for you guys. Put your hook through the back. Oopsie, I lost my loop. We're just going to do that again. We all lose our loops sometimes. And you'll notice that whenever I stick my hook through the back, I do use my thumb to help pull my working yarn down, right? So my thumb kind of looks like it's in the way, but it is actually serving a purpose. Because when you're working from this side, right? Now, this is how I was taught to crochet. Oh, another tidbit, make sure your yarn is in the front of your work when you are crocheting this way. Because usually you would crochet with your yarn in the back and you'd go through the front, but since you're going through the back, your yarn needs to be in the front. But this is how I was taught to crochet by my mother. My mother learned how to crochet from someone who was left-handed. So she puts her hook through the back instead of the front. Because if you're looking at a left-handed person crocheting and you're looking at them straight on, you're going to see where they're sticking the hook on the other side. Now that we are back to our pretty side, we're going to go back to crocheting as most people normally crochet. Oh, I lost my loop again. What is up with the first stitch of the row? We're just going to completely pull that through again. I am not in the mood to chase loops today. And this is how you can create a perfectly wrong side, a perfectly right side piece of work. It's just that simple. And if you follow knitting logic, knitting a knit stitch is, you know, sticking your needle through the front of the work, basically. And purling is sticking your needle through the back of the work, basically. So if you are a knitter, the logic will seem pretty obvious maybe to you. I certainly, I like to use this technique specifically for pencil cases, slippers, anything that might start off round, crocheting in the round, and then maybe have spurts of being knitted flat. Like for the opening of a pencil case, that part will be knitted will be crocheted flat. And then you go back to crocheting in a circle, and then you'll have this wonky segment in the middle of your pencil case where the opening is, where you would either put your zipper or your snaps or whatever. And I'm talking like a pencil case like this that would open like that, but just crocheted instead of plastic. You know, or slippers. So you would have, it would look like it was completely crocheted in the round, and you wouldn't have the segment that looks like this while the rest of your work looks like this, right? Or if you just really, really like the right side row, or just one side of the row versus the other, I mean, this technique is perfect. Now, you will notice something with this. See how now crochet doesn't really curl because the stitches are so thick anyway. You see, this is kind of wanting to curl. This one curls like this. This is, you know, regular crochet. It wants to curl on the corners. This one doesn't want to curl on the corners. It wants to curl like this. But it doesn't want to curl like that. It just wants to curl like this. So, you know, borders are great. It's really not that big of a deal, the difference in the way it wants to curl. But, you know, something to be mindful of. I do like to be thorough in my tutorials. But, yeah, pretty ingenious. I have never seen anyone else use this technique ever. I've never heard of anyone else use this technique. Like I said, I figured this out in high school. Mainly because I had a friend who knew how to crochet, and she crocheted the correct way, sticking her hook through the front of the needle. And I was like, huh, that's so weird. I crochet like this, you know, through the back of the needle. And whenever I went home and I tried crocheting like this, I was like, huh, because, you know, as you're working, you get used to seeing the side that you're working on. So let's take out this little circular thing, for instance. This is the right side because this is the side that's facing you as you are working, and you're working through the front. However, if you crochet like I was taught how to crochet, like my mom learned how to crochet by sticking the needle through the back of it, of the stitch, this is not what your right side is going to look like. You are going to be very used to seeing this side because sticking your hook through the back of the needle is what creates the stitches like this. So you don't usually see these stitches when you're working in the round. You're usually looking at it this way. You stick your hook through the front. Now, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. It really, like I said, it's very simple. I hope this helps you. I hope you find this very ingenious. I hope that you make perfect pencil cases and slippers after this, or perfect scarves, or perfect whatevers. And anytime you need to make sure that you have all of your right sides on the right side, you can use this technique. And I think it looks more visually appealing, right? It does look more visually appealing to me. This is normal. This is using the crochet hack. Just look at it.
So I hope this little tutorial hack thing blew your mind. If it did, please hit like and subscribe. Show your friends, share it around, because this is a technique that I did come up with on my own in high school, and I would love to see other crocheters use it. You can call it whatever you want. Call it the hack. But I'm very excited to share this with you because I really feel like I've been sitting on this for a little bit too long, and I've wanted to share it for a long time. So, like I said, if it blew your mind, hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them as quickly and as capable as possible. Happy crafting. Oh, and if you use this technique, please let me know what you used it for so I can put it in my ever-widening list of examples. As you can see, this time I really only had pencil cases and slippers as an example. Maybe you come across a vest pattern that could be improved by using the hack. Please share. Until next time, bye-bye.